All right, welcome back, guys. So I did a video not too long ago. The video should be. Let me show you the video. I did a video. It's called the thumbnail will say trap, but let me make sure I give you the actual title because it's going to be part one to this, and you need to watch it to really make a better sense of what we're about to cover. This one is still standalone, and I think the young lady who sent the email in, she actually repeated some of the, but she elaborated, I should say, she elaborated on some of the, on some of the stuff that we covered in the prequel to this one. Okay, so this video is called, let me show you this code. Okay. Uh-oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. Let me see. Let's go back. All right, so if you go on the on the home page of this channel, you see this video is called it's called Trapped in the Broken Marriage. Here's how to break free. So I might even I'll go ahead and label it as part one. So this is going to be a part two. Okay, so this is going to be a part two. This is, I'm using a similar thumbnail so you'll be able to identify it. But she elaborated a little bit more, and if you were here when I covered that story, you would notice that I because she sent me more, and that's how I was able to know that I was pretty much on point with a lot of stuff I said. Because there are actually just a few basic principles for this stuff. If you can master them, you can actually create the life that you want. Maybe more precisely, you can create the love life that you want, regardless of what your status is right now. See, whatever your status is probably not good if you are engaged in these conversations for the first time, unless of course there are people that have been coming here for a while and they've been healed and they've been paying attention. But I'm talking about if you're stumbling into our ecosystem, into the prestige family for the first time, you can relate with these stories because you might be going through something. And I want you to know that your status is just ground zero. That's all it means. It means there's an opportunity for growth, right? So and I wish this young lady very well. So I'm gonna read. Okay, Uncle Beto say I disagree. Hey, Dr. Adama, good to see you, Dr. Adama. I disagree. MOP. People are jealous of Davido. I beg, Uncle Beto, stop. Nobody's jealous of Davido. Nobody's jealous of VDM. Nobody's jealous of any of this guy with all these millions of attention. Nobody cares. That's the bottom line. We're just entertained. Okay, that's it. That's the best. The rest of it is not that deep, Uncle Beno. I promise you. I promise you, Allah. I promise. I beg, Uncle Beno. I promise. It's not that deep. Nobody's jealous of these guys. Okay, and any of these guys that have at least 10,000 followers on the internet, nobody's jealous of them. They're just entertainers. Okay, at best. Anyway, so I'm gonna get into the story. I'm gonna read. So this is part two. So she continues, I met my husband at the age of 19, and shortly before my 20th birthday, he proposed. It felt like love at first sight. So, a quick recap. Let me do, before I get into that, I think it's best that I give you a recap of what the first one is about, right? And then we'll get into it. So this is like a quick summary of what the first part about, right? Finding strength to leave a broken marriage. The email writer reflects on her painful realization that her marriage is deeply troubled. Despite her prayers and efforts, her husband insists that his word is final, dismisses her feeling, and refuses to communicate respectfully. Their conflict escalated after he disregarded her concerns about letting a stranger clean their apartment, which revealed broader issues of control, mistrust, and neglect. She shares her fears for her children, not wanting her daughter to endure similar pain or her son to replicate his father's behavior. Despite her sacrifices, including financially supporting him through school. See, this financially supporting him through school thing is similar to the story we covered when we talk about Apostle Suleiman and Gege, where I said I agree. You shouldn't, as a young person, be trying to sponsor other people. You gotta be careful with that. I know it's coming from a good place, but remember I told you that it's not good enough that you're a good person. There's more to this, right? So a lot of young people fall into that category. You sponsor these girls, some girl, you're a lover boy, you sponsor a girl through school, or worse, you're a young girl, 19, 20-year old, and you're sponsoring a grown man through school. It's dangerous. It's a dangerous game. Okay. Anyway, so including financially supporting him through school, her husband has shown infidelity, secrecy about finances, emotional withdrawal, and disrespect. If you recall, he was fapping himself in the bathroom and has neglected her, even sexually, right? He jacks off in the bathroom. That's how he gets, But he's also cheating, according to the story. So attempts at open communication are met with silence, accusations, silent treatment, malice, keeping. Now feeling betrayed, isolated, emotionally drained, she is resolved to leave the marriage for her well-being and her children's future, even as relatives urge her to endure. Of course, relatives will urge you to endure. She seeks guidance to navigate the painful path forward with clarity and strength. If you recall, my overall advice for her from the last part was that she is too she needs to be selfish. For the first time probably in her life, she really needs to stop the bullshit of I'm a good person, so somehow I take care of other people and you're pouring from an empty cup. I basically told her that she needs to find her way back to taking care of herself. I told her that being a mother is probably natural to her and she doesn't need to put too much effort into that. Where she needs to put effort as she moves forward is in taking care of herself. So, and that's where we're at. So now in part 2, so I'm going to start reading part 2. So part 2, she says, I met my husband at the age of 19 and shortly before my 20th birthday, he proposed. It felt like love at first sight. I had just been hurt by someone I loved who sister zoned me. So I had vowed not to love again. But when I met my husband, I fell deeply for him, even though I tried to hide it at first. At the beginning, I thought he was dating my roommate, Omomi. Oh, I shouldn't have said that, but okay, I've said it. I was going to change the names. Omomi, sorry, don't collect. Anyway, because let's assume nobody catches that. Let's call Omomi. Let's find the name. Let's call Jessica. Well, there's no Omomi, Jessica. At the beginning, I thought it was dating my roommate, Jessica, because she also liked him. Out of loyalty to her, I tried to stop myself from falling for him. But one day, Jessica told me that, and I quote, your boyfriend actually likes you. Okay. I didn't believe her. Soon after, he approached me directly. Okay. On May, I won't say the date, May 2012, I visited his room. He was my first kiss, my first everything. I was a virgin and I told him I wanted to keep myself for my husband. He looked at me and said, so who am I to you? I said, I don't know. He replied, I'm your husband. I laughed nervously, unsure of his intentions. Okay. At this point, what do you guys think so far? Nothing? You're still listening. Okay, let's continue. He was running game. Anyway, just 6 days later, he officially engaged me. 6 days later, in a dorm, in a hostel somewhere. Is that what I'm sensing? I accepted. He proposed. He officially engaged me. I accepted and even wrote him a poem. Good girls. A virgin for that matter. He shared his story. He had no parents, no support, and no family to help him through school. He asked me not to abandon him as others had. Anytime somebody tells you not to abandon them as other people have abandoned them, guess what you need to do? Abandon them. Okay, especially if they're a grown man. Anytime they say something like, oh, please do not abandon them, abandon them. Okay, there's a good chance that what you need to do is abandon them. See, you don't have the capacity for what you're about to engage. You just don't. That's just fact. You don't, okay? I know you won't listen until you collect, but I just need to say it out there just in case there's a 1% that will listen, you know. She says, on my birthday, I promised to sponsor his education and well-being until he could stand on his feet. 19, 20-year-old, sponsor his education. Anyway, I kept my promise. I supported him financially through 3 years of university in the UK, paying tuition, housing, flights, and upkeep. My friends mocked me, calling me Lord of the Rings, and warned me he was using me. But I defended him, believing his orphan story and his constant plea that I was all he had. At times, I found inappropriate chats with him and other girls. In one, he complained to a girl that I wouldn't sleep with him. When I confronted him, he apologized and I forgave him. Despite the red flags, I pushed on, shielding him, supporting him, and even deceiving my father by sending part of my upkeep to him, while making it appear to my family that gifts and financial support were coming from him. I worked tirelessly, making hair, selling products, cooking, writing assignments to save money. I bought land in both our names, invested in a cleaning business, and ensured he had the latest clothes and gadgets. He always reminded me to keep everything a secret, even from his siblings. He promised me loyalty, honesty, and that his money would be our money. I believed him wholeheartedly. Okay. Anything so far? Hey, Jim, good to see you, Jim. Uncle Patrick said, this love story, they run fast. Proposed to her at 20. Yes. It's moving very fast, right? Very, very fast. She believed him wholeheartedly. Let's continue. We maintained a long-distance relationship from 2012 until 2020. When his family finally performed the marital rites without me present due to the lockdown, I think she was in the UK too, it sounds like. In 2021, we had the wedding proper. I contributed heavily from my savings, giving him 80% of what I had, even paying $1,000 myself for my dowry, after overhearing my parents' private conversations about it. It was only after marriage that I began learning the truth. I discovered old chats between him and his sister from 2013, where he admitted I was paying for his education and that he felt trapped. His sister advised him to maintain me until he finished and then decided whether to leave or stay. I kept this to myself, but for years, only mentioning it recently. Ladies, what kind of secret have you been keeping to yourself for years? But it's just a matter of time before, right? Listen. Let me stretch. All right. So as you can see, I said it on the first part. Like, this is a young man who is just as confused. Just as confused. Doesn't mean he's not a villain. It doesn't mean that he's not to be blamed or he's not at fault. All of that is actually irrelevant. What matters is that you need to realize that this is not necessarily an enemy. Okay? And if you want to call it an enemy, you know what Yoruba people say about ile lashe ni wo, it was something like that. Anyway, the fact that it's inside of the house that the worst enemy is, you're probably your own worst enemy, right? So when we're saying trapped, and you probably can read it and say, oh, I'm trapped. No, wait for a second. The person is not just staying there just to want to punish you. The fact that they lack self-respect, that they wouldn't leave a situation where they don't want to be, that should tell you that it's probably more to it than this person is just want to be wicked to you, right? It's a wickedness versus weakness thing, right? Does that mean I'm exonerating them? Some of you are hearing I'm exonerating the person now. No, I'm telling you, save yourself. Stop trying to do shalaye. Save yourself. It is shalaye that make you think this person is wicked. It is shalaye that get you to that position. You want to explain it by calling. You want to explain the issue by calling it wicked. That's the issue. Instead of you looking at yourself and say, hey, I need to save myself. It is shalaye that make you call people that you are having sex with wicked. Okay, let's continue. She kept it to herself. After the wedding, his family openly opposed me. They claimed a seer had told them I would break their family. What's a seer? Like a wali. They called me a feminist, said I was too Europeanized, and accused westernized. Let's just call it westernized. And accused me of being a domineering Igbo woman. Living in their family house became unbearable. His relatives intruded into my private space, ate my food, and treated me with hostility. I begged my husband to move us out, but he refused. I guess they had moved back to Nigeria. Looks like they were students in the UK, and then they had moved back to Nigeria. That's what I'm not sure about that part. Anyway, strange attacks in dreams, and constant conflict led to multiple miscarriages. All of that is the explanation, okay, that I'm telling you to avoid. All that attack in dream order. I'm not saying it's not happening, but I'm telling you, in the grand scheme of things, you go explain. Because no evidence. Thank you. Sia is a prophet. Wali in Yoruba. Okay, I didn't know that. Thank you, sir. Let's get back to it. See, when distress, strange attacks, dreams, constant conflict led to multiple miscarriages. Okay, so that one is real. Okay, I want to be sensitive to that. Yes, of course, that can cause miscarriages, right? I once suffered. You see, in fact, one of the reasons why I keep saying that, Salah, is because the impact is going to be physical. All these spiritual explanations that you guys keep telling yourselves, the impact is going to be physical, and you will suffer if you don't save yourself physically. And it doesn't make it not spiritual. But you know what most people do when they call it spiritual? They get stuck in the funk of it. They just use it as explanation. They get funk, they wake up into the same misery tomorrow again. They won't seek help that they need. And if they're going to seek any help at all, guess where they go? They go back to a seer. Because it's a spiritual problem. Let's continue. There's a place for prayer in all of this. There's a place for prayer. But you know the way I said that? There's a place for it. And prayer, right, without work, right, is empty. Okay? It's vanity. It's useless. Let's continue. I once suffered a mysterious leg injury after a dream, leaving me unable to walk for months. Doctors called it idiopathic. Others said it was spiritual. We've been Nigerians all together now. It's still spiritual. Over time, my husband grew colder. He stopped giving me upkeep regularly, dismissed my needs, and withheld intimacy. Now she's in a position where she needs upkeep, and he stopped. When he did touch me, he insulted me, saying I smelled of food and didn't know how to make love. In a year, we had sex fewer than 7 times. Eventually, I contracted a sexually transmitted infection despite never being with another man. I knew then he had been unfaithful. The pain deepened when I discovered messages, calls, and meetings with other women, including colleagues. He came home with sperm-stained underwear. Smelling of sex, he claimed to masturbate, but I knew the truth. Okay, so he actually claimed to masturbate. He probably was masturbating too, but he probably was also having encounters with other people. Each time I confronted him, he deflected or accused me of being unfaithful with doctors or politicians. Yeah. Even during my pregnancy, he neglected me, forgot anniversaries, and kept malice for weeks. After a C-section, he offered no care or concern. He mocked my strained relationship with my mother, laughed about my father's financial loss, and told his family about my private struggles. Eventually, he went as far as calling me a witch and a demon, claiming I was sent against his life. You see, the same issue, right? You live in the same context where everybody thinks something is caused by a witch or demon or spiritual, and you call them being spiritual. Yes, they might turn around and do the same thing, right? Because all of you live in the same. I'm not even talking about between the husband and wife now. I'm talking about the whole Nigeria spiritual ecosystem as a whole. People are literally pointing fingers at each other, right? And they're just living in misery. And you know what they do? This the same explanation. It's all spiritual, right? They will, and they can explain it. They say it's when you came into my life that I started having problems. It's a lazy way of living. It's very lazy. Okay, listen to me carefully. It is very lazy to allude everything that you can actually do something about to spiritual. It is lazy. All of it is spiritual. You don't need to help spirituality. The whole thing is spiritual already. If you have to help spiritual by calling spiritual, by labeling each other demons and witches, you're just a lazy person. So he's a lazy person, obviously. He's a lazy-minded individual. That's why he's doing this. But anyway, so there shouldn't be any surprise here. There's too many couples going through this. Hopefully, some of them will catch some sense. Hopefully. Through it all, I kept giving, sharing every gift of financial support I received from colleagues or politicians with him, even when those gifts had ulterior motives. So she was working for, she actually did politician work, like, you know, the volunteer works for politicians because she didn't have papers. I think she also moved to Canada, something like that. She didn't have papers, so she would work for politicians to get money, and she got gift, and she would share it, you know, with this guy. But of course, we know these stories, you know. That's why I keep asking them, tell me the rest of the story. Anyway, let's keep going. I hid nothing from him, only for him to weaponize my honesty against me. His sisters even told me I was wrong to share everything with him. I started to feel I had lost myself. When I look in the mirror, I no longer recognize the woman standing there. I have prayed, fasted, and cried out to God, yet it feels like he is silent. See, praying, fasting, and crying out to God is a necessary ingredient, but it needs to be accompanied with work. If you don't add work to it, Okay, let's continue. I question if I am the problem. Hated by my husband, my mother, and some of my siblings. She also has a fallout. She doesn't have a good relationship with her mother as well. Despite all this, I cannot hate him. He's the father of my children, but I know our marriage is broken beyond repair. I fear for my daughter, who is barely 2, and my son, who I am raising alone after childbirth. I don't want them to inherit the cycle of pain. So it looks like she's across the pond and he's left in Nigeria. Okay. Right now, okay, she actually said it here. Right now, I'm in Canada, 2 months post C-section, caring for my newborn while worrying about my daughter in Nigeria. So she left the firstborn in Nigeria. I feel guilty for leaving her behind, even though I know I had no choice. I am jobless, struggling financially, and trying to start over after my father lost almost everything in a fraudulent investment scheme. So the father that used to sponsor everybody, including her, and then share the money with him, has now lost everything in a fraudulent investment scheme. Sometimes the pain feels overwhelming. I feel like I cannot breathe. I have thought about ending it all, but when I see my children, my sunshine, she names them here, I'm not going to put the name, and my heart beats, I hold on. I know I need help emotionally, mentally, and financially. I want to heal, to love myself again, and to rebuild. I want to learn how to be selfish in the healthy way you advised. Through self-love and self-awareness, I want to find myself again. That's part 2, guys. That is part 2. I didn't drop the link, so sorry, guys. I'm so far away from my studio, so I'm a little clumsy. I'm gonna drop the link in case you want to call in and you want to offer a word. You want to offer a word of advice. Feel free to call in. Uncle Patrick, to be perfect, if you can call in and offer a word for this young lady. Uncle Beno, if you're not busy, or anybody, any of the ladies, please. Jum, I see you. Jum said, wow, she was naive at 20. She should have left him earlier, or at least say not to the proposer. A stitch in time saves nine. Absolutely. Uncle Patrick said cheating is a no, no. It's a big issue in already strained relationship. You know what? The way I see cheating is almost, I see it as inevitable in this kind of relationship. That's the way I see it. I see cheating in all different types of forms before it becomes what she narrated. There's no way these two people could be loyal to each other with the type of foundation that they have. Is quite it's quite lopsided to one side. The worst thing is to be vulnerable with the wrong person. Junjun says she would have learned at some point and stopped sharing. Yeah. Well, at least she knows now that she now needs to be selfish in order to heal. Yes. Yeah. Let me just say a word for her. Okay, Uncle Patrick has come in. Let me just let Uncle Patrick go. Uncle Patrick, sir. Happy Sunday to you, sir.
Happy Sunday.
Yes, sir.
On
Shewa.
stage.
Antinko.
Yeah, she's fine.
Okay. All right. Good to see you, sir.
She's having fun.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Was the letter written to you directly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a
Yeah.
part two. I did the part one already. When I will drop it in the backstage again for anybody who wants to watch the part one. So this is a part two of it.
Well, I would advise her since she's in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
She can make use of those resources there. I believe it's going to be free. Like she needs to get herself together with what she has gone through therapy. I'm 100% sure she's going to get some free access to therapy if she finds out wherever she is. Yeah, that's the first thing, to get herself together. And with prayer, somebody might they could even assist her in getting a job. And she has a son, a daughter, or a son with her.
Sorry, sir. She mentioned she's getting ready to probably go back to Nigeria because she doesn't have papers to stay, and she's quite frustrated through that process as well. So maybe somebody could be listening that could help. Please reach out to my DMs if there's a way you can help, so I can connect. But go ahead, sir. I just wanted to put that in there.
Yes, thank you for bringing her out and for her for opening up. She shouldn't be in the age to go to Nigeria. We had cases of people like that. If she can just pray, I don't have any link, but I'm pretty much sure even cases that have been brought to Budo family, people in Canada, and she should connect with the community, especially Nigerian community. Yeah, it might not be everybody that God should just lead her to somebody that will be of help. Yeah, somebody has not benefited from any of these things, they may not know, even in America. When you ask some people about something, they say, no, I've never done that. I have no idea. You wouldn't blame anybody for that because he or she has not gone through that. But if she can reach out to Nigerians, people, and most importantly, pray that God will just lead her to somebody, even for the sake of the child. Yeah, for now, that's what I'm going to advise her. For her to even get to you, she's a man of prayer. That means she's in the social media planet. She sees what is going on. She may even be listening to me right now.
No, she
Yeah.
will listen to this. This is actually coaching form for her.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
she should get in touch with people. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so
So
much, sir.
if you can get back to me, man of prestige, I can also reach out to some people
Okay.
in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can
Yeah.
see what we can do. But she
I've
should just
requested because here's why she might be listening to this. The reason why I've requested a FaceTime with her, because there's also a lot of people on the internet using the platforms to scam people. They will claim they need help and all this kind of stuff. So just to make sure it's not just somebody cooking up stories. Once I will screen her, is what I'm saying. Make sure that she's authentic, and then I will see how we can help her. I'm sure many people will be listening and they can help.
Yeah, with her state right now, she should just cool down. She won't be in a better position to think right. With all she
Mm-hmm.
has gone through, she's a young lady with 2 kids, trusting somebody and she got disappointed. Let her just cool down.
Right.
She needs therapy concerning her mental health and every other thing. Above all, she needs to pray that God Almighty will just grant her favor.
Amen.
That's what I'm going to say.
Amen. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Enjoy your week, sir.
Thank you, my brother. God bless. You can
All
reach
right.
out to me anyway.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Take care. All right, guys. That will be the show for today. Feel free to use the comment section, chat. If you have any resources that you think can help this young lady, advice, anything like that, positive stuff, because that's what she needs right now. Feel free to use the comment section, chat stuff, and share that. In terms of, I think the answer is still the same. She needs to become super. She needs to engage self-preservation immediately. She needs to engage self-preservation immediately. That's the first step, and then so she can pour into her children. And I agree with Uncle Patrick. Don't be in a haste to go and volunteer to go back to Nigeria. I would just relax on that, chill. Let's talk to a few people, see what we can do, and then we'll take it from there. All right, everybody, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified whenever we go live. Hopefully, you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.